You are cleaning out your desk at school, so you know how messy those can be. You find that you have 6 times as many pencils as highlighters. Write an equation for the number of pencils, P, in terms of the number of highlighters, H. Right? So what I want you to do right now is first I want you to reread it to yourself. When you're done, look at me.
Based on the description that
Okay, so you may write on your whiteboard as much as you want, as little as you want. You may, glance at your tape and be able to explain, talk with your partner. The 5 of you may speak. I want you to do what the question is, which is write an equation for the number of pencils P in terms of the number of highlighters H. Okay? So no explanation for me, and then we're gonna go over it together and ask questions and explain to each other, okay? So I'm gonna give you a few minutes to you can use the back, you can use the front, go for it, okay? Yes, ma'am. Yes, sir, sorry. Yes.
Do we have to write a solution?
You have to write an equation.
Just the equation.
So exactly what it says. And one thing, try not to erase. If something you don't want it, just put one line through it, and then we can ask what your thinking was, because someone might have the same ideas, right? Okay? Both you and James and Carlos, you had the same thing. Carlos, can you tell the group what you first wrote down?
No, I put minus.
Oh, minus. Carlos, what did you put?
6P plus H.
Why did you do that?
6 pencils plus highlighters.
Okay, plus highlighters. Okay, that's something to think about. I'm not saying it's right or wrong. That's just something to think about. Carlos.
Okay, so what we're going to do is
Okay, all right. So let me ask you.
we're going to figure out
When I told you what the next class is going to be,
so
what were you telling me?
I'm going to give each one of you
To describe so that we can guess it.
so I'm going to have you do it on your sleeve is you're going to write
They had patterns on it.
so
A couple of division signs.
Less points? Okay.
Why did we put a division sign? Or originally, or I know you crossed it out, but I love that you crossed it out and didn't erase it. Why would you put a division sign?
I guess because it says 6 times as many pencils as highlighters.
6 times. What do you think? You kind of think in your head, what operation would that be?
Okay, all right. So change this. What if I don't do any of those? Okay. And try some. I wonder if this would be. That was a while back, right?
I like how some of you are going back to the problem. I love it.
Is this changing? Okay, so there's probably refer to them as
If you're struggling, maybe do draw a picture. Or that might be something to think about. Do a visual representation. Okay, so if P and a value are tripping you up, you know, that might be, try that way. So let's read it, everybody's eyes, let's read it one more time. You are clean at your desk, so picture yourself clean at your desk. You find that you have 6 times as many pencils as highlighters.
Okay, the sections. If we gave the sections,
So how many pencils do I have? 6 times as many what? Highlighters. So does it say to add? No. So we know 6 times as many pencils as highlighters. Okay, and if you need to, draw a picture and then see if you can come up with an equation that matches your picture. And if you think you have the equation, test it out. Put a value in there and see how it works.
all right, let's circle that. And
I know, we chose the wrong color whiteboard marker. The red ones are horrible.
and I said, can you describe the location?
Cindy, how would I write 6 times pencils? How would I write 6 times as many pencils? Okay, and then what are we going to use for pencils? What? Okay, so put P. Okay, good. Then as many highlighters. Is that where we're stuck? Okay. So if I have, plug in a value. So let's put in a value here. So what could P be? How many pencils do you think you have in your desk or your backpack? Yes. Okay, so let's put 2 right here times 6. And what do you get? And what do you get when you do 6 times 2? 12. Okay, so write down right here. Okay, and then what would this? What would 12 also represent? What do you think? Very good. So kind of think about what can we put here. Carlos, let's look at what everybody stop. Let's look at what Carlos has. Carlos, what was your equation that you came up with on the other side?
6 times P equals 8.
Why did you do that? Can you explain why that's your equation?
6 times the pencils that are from highlighters.
Very good. So now what are you working on?
I just draw a picture.
You're drawing a picture, you're trying to putting in the values. Very good. James, what did you have for your equation?
Same thing except the equal sign I put greater than,
Greater than. Why would you put greater than?
because it says in the problem, write an equation for the number, since it says 6 times as many, I put greater than instead of equal to.
Okay, good. I'm sorry, I don't remember. Giselle, what did you put?
6 times P equals 8
Why did you put that?
because it's 6 times as many pencils as highlighters.
Very good. Anneli, what did you put? With the greater than, but the the variables on the same side. Very good. Now what I want you to try, what I want you to do, so we're going to put equals, highlighter. Because you had it, that was delta represents. I want you to put in 2 values and come up with values see if it works. Test your equation. Okay, so everybody right now, test your equation. Choose a value and test your equation.
So, that makes sense. All right, so let's speak about this language that we need to speak. Okay. Because, Daniel, you had something else to do. Where?
Like you put any random value.
Any value.
done. Okay, got my numbers. Tell us your character and then tell us the location.
Are all the numbers needed? One of the numbers or both of the numbers? Well, all right.
Line negative 6 and negative 6. Thank you. You can leave that down there. Okay, thank you, Athena.
And some have both negatives, some have no negatives, right? One of these, yeah, I agree with you, that's there, that looks pretty good. Now, when do we use a negative one?
Okay, thank you.
Right? That's what we look for ground. Because you don't have it. You have it.
James, why are you dividing?
Because it's times I have to do the opposite of what.
Oh, so you're solving for P?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. What was my question? My idea was if I want you to choose, like, guess how many pencils you have in your backpack, or because I know you don't have it. Yeah. So how many pencils do you have in your backpack?
One.
One? Okay. If you have one pencil in your backpack, how many highlighters would you have if you use the equation 6 times, or P times 6 is greater than H? Can you plug it in for me and tell me how many highlighters you would have? I want you to test that out. I want you to plug in 1 for P. I want you to plug in 1 and tell me how many highlighters you would have.
How do we know which one it is? Because Lindsay says it's west, and Daniel says it's south. That would take the direction.
So what value did you choose?
Okay, now,
How many pencils do you have? How many pencils do you have? Sorry.
In my backpack?
Well, just get what did you put? what what did you choose for P? How many pencils?
6.
Six? Okay, so if I plug it in, that would go 6 times 6, right? So what's 6? So what's 6 times 6?
36.
Ah, there you go. Good. I know. Do you like spitting?
Yeah, it's 6.
I mean, you don't use red. I'm just
No. Yeah.
That's all.
Our value was 3.
You can talk with each other. That's perfectly fine. You guys learn from each other. Okay, so you told me how many you had one pencil, right? Right?
So I had to
So if I have one pencil, what's 1? What's it say? Times
times
6.
6.
What's 1 times 6?
That's easy. It's 6. So
Okay,
that's
so
why I have
like
to
right here,
minus.
perfect. And then on this side, you told me originally you had H.
Because 6 times
Correct?
Originally I had 8, but I just put 12.
Where did 12 come from?
I don't know.
What was the value that you chose again?
6.
6?
I know we put the worst color highlighters, right?
Yeah.
I mean the expo markers. Okay.
I meant to change it. I meant to change
Of
it.
course. That's why we used whiteboards.
So then you would put 6 times 6 because
Okay.
6
So you had H right here, right?
times as many pencils.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, perfect. And we're gonna make this one, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so make that one. Perfect. So then so it's 1 times 6 gives you 6, and then you just bring this down.
H.
Is so then 6 is greater than
H, and that would be your, if you do this as
Six
an
is
in.
greater than 0.
Yeah, six is greater than.
Add up to 6 anyway because that's what you times it by.
Just bring down this.
So that would be 0.11.
Okay.
Okay.
I guess
Can you
so.
explain what these numbers represent?
The 6 pencils.
I'm just gonna.
I would say they represent the number of pencils we have.
I would say that the 6, the beginning 6, would represent the 6 times as many pencils, and my 3 would represent how many pencils I have, and 18 would represent the highlighter.
What was the question you had, Miss Sanchez? How many do we have
So
more?
what do we have more of? Do we have more of highlighters or more pencils?
Highlighters.
How do you know you have more highlighters?
Because it says you have 6 times as many pencils as highlighters. And since my value is 3, 6 times 3 is 18, resulting in 18 highlighters.
Okay, so let's go back and look at when you have 6 times as many as something else. Okay? So let's say I had 6 times. Okay, what do you see?
I see that when it means 6 times as many pencils, it means that we're going to 6 times highlighters.
So what should you have more of?
We should have more pencils than highlighters.
So now go back and look at your equation. And does the equation make sense with what the question is asking?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's look at your equation. Right
We're all
here.
looking at Giselle's.
Let's all look at your equation there. Can you, when you tested this out, okay, you said this is how many pencils you have, correct? And this is how many highlighters. In this equation, you stated earlier that you should have more pencils. But in this example, you have 3 pencils and 18 highlighters. Does that make sense?
Which means you should move, the highlighter should be 6, it would be 6 times highlighters, 6 times pencils.
Perfect.
So can you go back to your equation and make that correction?
So everybody see what Giselle did? So Giselle, one more time, explain to the group what's the equation and why using the equation, using the problem.
My equation was 6 times H equals P because it says 6 times as many pencils as highlighters. 6 times as many pencils as highlighters means that you're multiplying 6 times highlighters to equal as many highlighters as you have.
Very good. Okay, using that equation, can we come up with, how did you word it, Miss Sanchez? Different
This is a
representation.
different representation of the equation, but before we continue, I think that maybe, James, can you explain to us the equation that Giselle just created? Can you explain why she changed her equation?
No, I cannot. It's hard to do. I cannot.
Okay, Giselle, can you explain it one more time?
Because it says 6 as many pencils as highlighters, which concludes that you're multiplying 6 times highlighters to get as many pencils as you have.
James, can you kind of repeat what she just said?
She times the highlighters to equal.
Okay. Will she have more pencils or more highlighters? If she plugs in a value, will she have more pencils or more highlighters?
Depending on which side.
So can you use that equation and plug in an amount and see if she would have more pencils or highlighters?
Okay, then 6 for
Bless
each.
you.
So write it down. 6 times H equals P. I want everybody. I want you to write me. Everybody using that equation. Tell me, will I have more pencils
or more highlighters? So show me an example. Will I have more pencils or more highlighters? Plug in a value. Will I have more pencils or more highlighters?
Using
get to
Giselle's
choose-
equation.
Using Giselle's equation. So would I have, you tell me, more pencils or more highlighters? Okay, so write more pencils. If you think that's the answer.
Oh, I heard no. Look at your face, partner. Do you have the sun in the same place? Oh, yikes. I'm hearing no. Yes. There's nothing wrong with the sun.
So James, can you tell me why you are dividing 36 there?
Because 6 times 6, 36, divide that.
Do we need to divide? There you go. So what is 6 times 6?
36.
So then, where in this equation should you put 36?
P equals 36.
There you go. Can you show us that? Okay, so in this equation that you wrote, what does this number 6 represent? Highlighters. And what does this 36 represent?
Pencils.
What do you have more of, highlighters or pencils?
Pencils.
Pencils. Good job.
Good. I like how. I love how Sydney wrote she has more pencils than highlighters. She wrote it as an equality. She used the greater, less than sign. Very good. All right. Can we try and represent it in a different way? Is there other way we can put solutions in? Another visual representation of our values, of our equations?
Look at your elbow partner.
Should think of some of the things you've done in class.
Look at your face partner.
You can write small at the bottom. You don't have to erase it or turn your wherever you have space. A visual representation. So anything we can.
You could either do another equation or another visual representation to show that you have 6 times as many pencils as highlighters.
So we organize our or even how you can organize your information.
Yes.
Another. I know, Carlos, I saw you earlier, you drew a picture. That would be another visual representation. I know you didn't get to finish it. Finish maybe an illustration that would show that you would have 6 more highlighters, 6 more pencils than you do highlighters.
Or even another way to show different examples of you plugging in different numbers.
Organize our information in a different way.
It kind of looks like cloud.
So Carlos had a picture as one of them. Sydney has an inequality. Also, can we organize values?
Okay, so what do you need?
So, look at your elbow partner. Where's their con? Where's yours?
And you're moving from that point.
I should have gone for
Elbow partner. Face partner. Elbow partner. All
like Carla's drawing a picture after his thing, so like he already came up with the picture, so I already saw his. She came up with the name. What do you think we can do? Like try to
I was trying to do a division problem.
I like how you're talking about that.
I don't know what.
Yep.
Starts that. How about yours easy to read now?
Mine is
You have to press down for it. And there goes the
I'm
timer.
trying to push love that. Like, and I was like, yes, and then that's where my mind went. Because your markers, personality, you know, very, and you know what? That was good though. Where I struggle and we did it. We did it. No.
Another visual representation we can do would be
So I'm going to see coordinate planes. Does these things matter?
Everybody's like, think about your math book. What is it? What is that, Cindy? A graph. Oh, good job, Cindy. A graph. Very good. A number line.
Dot plot.
Which can lead into a dot plot and good. She's like, I knew that. So James, they said maybe even a number line or a graph would be able to, and you would have to see, okay, does that work? Does that not work? Does that show? Does that not show? And one graph may work better for another one as well.
Wrap up your conversations. You have about 1 minute left.
I'm gonna put a question to you before we end. So, for instance, Sydney said, "Oh, I have four highlighters, so then I get 24 pencils. That's two numbers. What's it called when I have two numbers? Would I be able to graph it? Is there a possibility? Like when you said a dot plot, I would be able to graph it, right? Because and then I could order where I was trying. You can maybe even put it into a table." Right? So you can put your two values into a table, make one X and Y, and then you can graph and you can see if it works. So, but good. Cindy, good job. I like the inequality. Thank you so much, guys. You guys were absolutely amazing. Okay, and I know with the next time we do this, we will not choose a red whiteboard marker. Good job. All right, you guys can. Do you want to start erasing? Then you get to go back to class when Mr. Nolan does move. Yay!
See, it's not easy.
I know.
So much for helping us today. We really appreciate your time and your energy. You really did a great job. Everyone in the group did a wonderful job.